Did you know that when Pikmin was revealed at E3 2001 and Shigeru Miyamoto said it would be out that year, that all they had actually done was essentially that demo? That's just a taste of what was revealed in Nintendo's Ask the Developer interview about Pikmin 4. The first installment brought together members of the original Pikmin development team that started working on the game way back in the days of the Nintendo 64. Some of the tidbits are fascinating, so here are 6 brand new things that we just learned about the development of the original Pikmin. Number 1. The original idea revolved around thought chips. Shigefumi Hino and Masamichi Abe started working on what would become Pikmin in the mid-1990s, with the guiding idea of displaying a large number of characters on screen. The idea, according to Hino, was to take these characters and control them using thought chips that would instruct them to do specific tasks, such as fight, defend, and heal. As the game wore on, the AI-controlled characters would be able to equip more chips. Number 2. Early Pikmin creature designs were inspired by Tim Burton. The first designs of the creatures for this prototype were more like Yoshi, according to Hino, but he felt it lacked impact as a character. Miyamoto added that part of the goal was to make a critter that high school girls would find cute. In came designer Junji Mori, who put together a number of sketches that solidified the look of the elongated Pikmin. He cited his affinity for Tim Burton's worlds, saying that he wanted the designs to not just be cute, but also give a sense of eeriness or some emotional weight. Hino added that he wanted to take a bold step and depict a somber, mature, and mysterious world. The team watched the 1973 French animated movie Fantastic Planet for inspiration. Hino even tried to read The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins, though he admitted it was too complex for him to wrap his head around. Miyamoto elaborated on their inspirations by saying that they all watched a bunch of art house indie movies that you wouldn't find in a regular video store. I would love to know that list of movies that helped to fuel the weird GameCube era of Nintendo. Number 3. Mario 128 didn't actually directly influence Pikmin. Over the past 20 years, it seems to be assumed canon that the GameCube demo Mario 128 was directly connected to Pikmin. That, according to programmer Yuji Kondo, was not the case. We didn't know about the existence of Mario 128, so it's not like Pikmin was influenced by Mario 128 in terms of planning or technology. But many new ideas came out of the GameCube's ability to move large numbers of characters, which wasn't possible back in the days of the Nintendo 64. Now, that's not to say that Mario 128 didn't help Pikmin out along the way. It likely doesn't exist as it is without that tech demo, but the paramount ideas of the game were laid out well in advance of that demo, and core members of the development team weren't involved at all with Mario 128. Number 4. The development team had doubts about violence and death in Pikmin. At this point, we all know what happens when you fail your Pikmin and they die. A Bulborb will scoop them up in their mouth and chomp away until you hear the final screams of your beloved critters as they disappear into a ghostly form. It's just accepted now that after you use your army to take down a fiery blowhog, you carry its carcass back to your base so you can generate more Pikmin to enlist in your mission. But according to Miyamoto, he had some real doubts, saying, "Are we really doing this?" Part of the overall goal of Pikmin was to, as Hino said, convey a touch of somberness. That overall touch of borderline magical realism seems to have been an inspiration from the European indie films the team watched. Of course, even if this all seems very artistic, Miyamoto is quick to clarify that the gameplay came first, as it is Nintendo's way. Number 5. At E3 2001, Miyamoto lied and said the game was finished. And he didn't even beat around the bush. In actuality, only the stage shown at E3 was complete, and that was specifically made for E3. Edits to the debut trailer were being made just days before, with Miyamoto having a heavy hand because he only joined the team as a director earlier that year. He was a producer on the title prior. He said to Abe, one of the game's other directors, that "I'll join you as a director, so please, give me 3 months. I'll step down if it fails." Miyamoto was so bold because he was confident that the game would be finished for the launch of the GameCube later in 2001. When he joined, he put together a game flow diagram of what Pikmin would be. We can't totally see the full details of this game design document, but it's a rare look into how Miyamoto lays out a game. He explains the diagram further, saying, "At first glance, this diagram just looks like a bunch of cryptic sentences strung together. But if you follow each sentence one by one, you can understand the program's flow with this single sheet. In other words, nothing other than what's written here will happen. It always happens with game development. We want to do this, we want to do that, and we end up with lots of new elements. Then the director says, well, I guess we'll have to figure out how to fit them all together," and flees the scene. But this diagram is also a declaration that we won't do anything other than what's written here. Unless we set these boundaries, we can't develop with so many people involved. I figured I'd better draft them myself before bossing others around, so I wrote it all down while discussing with Kondo-san things like how AI works in the system, whether the processing would be able to keep up, and if not, whether it could be replaced with other mechanics. And number 6, an ex-Argonaut developer helped coin the term Pikmin. Abe recalled that Colin Reed, a programmer on Pikmin who was originally part of the Argonaut software team that made Stunt Race FX on the Super Nintendo, was responsible for the origins of the name Pikmin. He mistook the word ipiki, which means one small animal in Japanese, as the word piki, thinking that that was the name of the creatures. That mistake then evolved into the word Pikmin. So there you go, there's 6 brand new things we just learned about the original Pikmin on GameCube. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to Nintendo World Report TV and checking out NintendoWorldReport.com for a whole lot more. You can join our Discord using the link in the description to chat with us about Pikmin or anything else Nintendo, and of course keep an eye out for continuing coverage of Pikmin 4 as we approach and following its release. This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.